Hey folks, it's Rob here with an Ask Rob Anything, and we haven't done one of these for a while. We've got Frank, a member of our community. He's an annual member, and because of that, he gets to ask Rob anything. And Frank's got a little bit of a doozy he wants to ask me. Quite a detailed question, Frank. So, mate, how can I help?
Thank you, Rob, for the opportunities. So basically, I have been owning investment property for many years. It's not very well maintained from the rental perspective, so I got a very low yield compared with market return. So I always thinking about, okay, should I do a subdivision, do the renovation, or do the rebuild? But I always in probably indecision mode because of so many decisions need to be made. I'd like to get some guidance from you. What are the key decisions I should um, finalize and based on the priorities and the orders, and then have a clear mind for me to take practical actions.
Very good, mate. I think I can help. Noting I can't give you advice. All I can give you is guidance on the things to actually start to look at. So the
Mm.
first thing, Frank, is you've done this as a long-term investment. Okay. Now, when we're looking at sites, when we look at it from an investment perspective, we're looking at it for a very different analysis than if we are from a development perspective. So I'm just going to firstly just take that that investment brain first, and I'm going to look at that and go, is it performing as intended? Now, there's only two reasons to own an investment property: capital gains and cash flow. So what was your original intention for this? Was it capital gains or cash flow?
Capital gain for sure. So, and also I want to maximize the cash flow. I want to pretend initial attention. I want to hold many or more or investment properties. But in reality, I feel it's very time consuming for me to maintain the rental property in a good condition and also always to get the good rent. And also secondly, I feel from cash flow, from capital banking perspective, I probably didn't make a right decision in terms of ownership. At that time, I want to do the negative gearing, so use my own name for the property. But now I basically need to figure out the capital gain. I will pay lots of tax because on my own name, which I pay high tax stress,
Okay, so
ratio.
we've actually got a couple of different problems here. So I'm going to try and just break it down one at a time. So firstly, let's just go back and look at the investment side of things. So
Yeah.
what you told me is you bought it with the intention of capital gain, and over time that's turned into cash flow because I'm assuming you've got lower debt. But from a capital gains perspective, or for any investment perspective, I want you to ask yourself three questions. Okay. So question number one, is it performing as intended? Is it getting you the capital gains? Now, do you know that answer?
I know the answer. Yes, I think it's probably not but it's based on Melbourne the growth in the 20 years. I think it's a capital gain side is cool,
Okay,
but I probably need to pay lots of tax.
so that's a tick. That's a yes, it's doing as intended.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the next question, is it likely to continue to do as intended? And excuse my voice, I'm a little bit sick here.
I think the current ownership structure doesn't support that because if I don't change the ownership structure, I will continue to get lots of capital gain, but will
Well,
get
let's worry about the structure separately. Let's just go,
caught.
is the investment property itself, is it going to continue performing for capital growth?
No. Basically,
Okay.
that's a suburb. I think is already there's no
Okay.
much potential for
Okay,
continued.
so it was performing well and now it's plateaued.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So then the last question, can you do better with what you know?
With what I know, I can think of is just demolish and build brand new ones.
Okay.
And yeah,
So the answer is yes, you could do better. And
yes, absolutely.
excuse me. And one of those questions you wanting to know is should you actually develop it? So
Sure.
so based on that, there's an opportunity to consider selling this property right now because it's done the work, it's done the heavy lifting, and now you're considering, do you swap it over?
Mm,
So for anyone else out there thinking, hey, I've owned an investment property for a while, what should I do? Those three questions are important.
sure.
The next thing to do is then to go, okay, what is the potential that we could do? And you said to me just before we went on air that you were thinking about subdividing this and building a couple of
Yeah,
dwellings on here. So knock
yeah,
it down and subdivide. So the tricky part with doing this, because you've owned it for so long, is if you do a development, you never know, is the profit that you're getting, did it come from the original 20 years of capital growth, or did it actually come from the property development?
I see.
So what we've got to do is we've got to do an imaginary scenario. Okay. So the imaginary scenario is, let's just pretend that I bought this property in today's market. And if I pretended to buy it in today's market, including buying stamp duty and holding costs and all those sorts of things, could we make a profitable deal out of buying that property? And if the answer to that is yes, then it makes sense to do the property development. And we also get the uplift from the capital growth that we had for the 20 years. If the answer is no, then the property development process, all it's doing is adding complication to your life where you already had huge capital growth. And so you could just sell it without having all the pain and without having all the hassle. So one of the things that you should do, what I teach is a thing called the suburb analysis process, where you should work out what is the typical buy price of a development site in the area, okay, based on the same criteria that your particular project is. What does the finished product sell for? What does a typical project run for by reverse engineering other people's deals? And then go, well, if I could buy on average and run an average deal and sell on average, would on average I make money? Okay. And if you can, then yes, you should execute the property development. If the answer is no, then you're really just adding complication.
Make perfect sense to me.
Yeah. Now, then the question is, well, the entity structure that I'm actually doing that in, there's no point changing the entity structure if I'm not going to do the property development.
Sure.
Okay. And it's too late to change it from the investment perspective.
Sure.
Okay. But let's just imagine that the property development does make sense. Then you've got a decision to make and you need to talk to your accountant to actually do the math on this. If you transition it over into a different entity, you would almost certainly be paying the capital gains tax to do that and the stamp duty to transition it. But the capital gains tax, you get a 50% discount on.
Yeah, sure.
And what it does is it allows you to reset the next round of tax. And it depends on, are you wanting to exit the deal and sell the finished product, or are you wanting to keep the finished dwellings at the end? And is it worthwhile doing that for you?
Yep.
Or do you keep it in the current structure and knowing that you're not going to sell it, just keep it for a long time and let the kids worry about it when you die? Okay.
Got it.
But that's a question for your accountant. The important part in that decision, though, Frank, is one, will I be transitioning it to a property development? Does the development make sense? And two, if I develop it, how am I going to exit that deal? Am I going to keep it long-term forever? Or am I going to flip and sell the finished product?
Got it.
You know those two questions. When you go talk to your accountant, they can do the math and they can actually tell you which is the best answer for that. Now,
It's
I've
clear
got a
to
view in
me.
my head. I think I know the answer, but I can't tell you what that is, unfortunately.
I hear you. So this makes perfect sense. I think I still probably need some data before I talk to an accountant because in terms of I'm always thinking about the feasibility analysis, right? So feasibility about profit return. But before I get to that feasibility analysis to determine yes or go or no go, I need to understand, okay, what's a profit I'm going to make out of this whatever decision I'm going to make, right? Before I get to that, I still need to understand what's a construction cost for the property I'm going to build, and also estimate the final product market price. So is that
Yes,
right? Or
so you're correct, but it's very easy to overcomplicate this, Frank. Okay, because you're new in the process, there are many, 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 many other costs to worry about as well.
sure.
If you just do the high level assessment that I'm talking about, so
Okay.
what should I buy it for? What should I sell it for? Reverse engineer someone else's deal, go talk to their builder and say, how much did that one cost?
Okay.
You just get some high level numbers.
Got it.
Order of magnitude, you're trying to work out, is it even worth my while?
Yeah.
Okay. You could get down to the dollar accurate, absolutely, but then you'd have to learn the whole property development process. You'd have to
Yeah.
get very good at your skills. Whereas what you're wanting is
Yeah.
this going to be close enough for me to even consider,
Exactly.
right?
I don't.
And
Yeah.
if it's close enough to consider, then go to the down to the dollar.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If it's not within an order of magnitude, save your effort. And
Yep. I
yeah,
agree. Yeah. Just ballpark estimation, not the
very good.
100% certainty. Yeah. 50% of certainty is good enough.
Yeah, well, I hope that helps, Frank.
Yeah.
And for anyone else out there, if you are an annual member of our PDN community, you can also ask Rob anything. If you click on the links below, you can submit your question and you can have a question asked to me, and I'm going to help you just like I helped Frank. Until then, I'd love to see you at one of our upcoming meetups. We run them in Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, and Adelaide. We would love to see you there. Till then, folks, bye for now.